coming back from the from the workshop. So we're just going to start once we have more people join from the workshop. Okay, so I think we can start now while we wait for more people to join. So thank you everyone for joining this session. This will be the last panel session for this event, and this is going to be the Women in GIS career panel session. So on the panel we have Cyhana Williams, who is a user experience researcher at Microsoft. We also have Dr. Clara Mundia, who is the director of location analytics at Delbag Research Limited. We have Elham Ahmed Soudy, who is the GIS instructor at Esri North Africa, and Boineelo Moyo, who is a geospatial data scientist and a certified environmental specialist. So thank you so much for joining this session today. Let me see if Mika is ready to start. Okay.
Oh,
hello, Mika. Yeah,
you can hear me now.
Yes.
I believe you've done the introduction for
Yes, I have.
for everyone. Okay, so I will just go straight in. Okay, thank you guys for attending the panel session. My first question will go to the whole panelist. Maybe starting with Boineelo. The first question will be like give us an opening statement, like tell us about your career journey, how you started, where you are currently, and like a plan for the future, briefly.
Okay, thank you so much. You caught me off guard. I was not prepared to start, but it's okay. So, what can I say? I would say, initially I started as an environmental consultant, and then I was doing environmental impact assessments and management plans back in Botswana. But during that process, I kind of transitioned into GIS through, I was involved in a project where we had to work with other specialists, GIS specialists involved as well. And that's where the passion and the love for GIS started. And after that, I just decided to pursue the discipline, and I applied for my master's in Germany. And I moved here to do my master's in geoinformatics. This is where I am now. And yeah, coming from a non-technical background, I guess we all know how environmental sciences, the major part of environmental science is like theory-based. And coming from a non-technical background to a more advanced programming environment was, it was one of the toughest things to do, yes, but I managed to do it, and I'm here today. And your last question, the future, I don't know. I'm at a point where I am just taking each day as it comes and just exploring all the options and learning also in the process. So I would maybe think of taking PhD at some point, but for now, I'm just focusing on advancing my skills and applying myself where possible. Thank you.
Yeah, that's nice. Cyhana, you're the next.
Can you hear me clearly? Yeah. Yes. So my journey, it started off doing geography. From high school, I've always been into geography, and I continued it till the university. And of course, it was a non-science and non-technical course, but that was where I discovered GIS. Then after school, I offered my national service. That's a 1-year mandatory service to the country. I offered it at a private institution that did GIS and software. So that was where I kind of got a bit also into the tech industry. I did a boot camp to learn coding with developers in Vogue. And in that journey, or in that time of my life, that was when I also got really into the tech industry. And in the journey, I kind of co-founded African Women in GIS with Chidinma. And in that process, I got a job at a food and beverages company where I was able to apply my skills as a GIS technician and help them to kind of create a much more efficient delivery system for their supply chain management business. Then in the process, I got to apply for Microsoft, and I currently work as a UX researcher. So I have kind of transitioned from GIS to tech research to help software teams to kind of assess their solutions and come up with new solutions. So that's where I am now. And in the future, I hope to continue growing the African Women in GIS community with Chidinma, and also, basically kind of be in the tech and GIS industry going forward. So anything is possible in the future, and I really look forward to that.
That sounds great. Let's go to Dr. Clara. If she could tell us her career journey.
Hello. Hi, as you've heard, my name is Dr. Clara Mundia. I am the Director of Location Analytics at our social and market research company here in Kenya, born and raised. My career journey is an interesting one. I started off in medicine. Those of us in Africa know how our persistent parents can be in trying to get doctors and lawyers and engineers out of their children. So I was one of them who acquiesced to trying to move into the field of being a doctor, and quickly realized that that was not what I wanted by my junior year in college. And that happened when I took an elective course in environmental science, and I fell in love with it. I really related with all the questions and the phenomenon and the challenges that were being discussed in class. And I would always try to relate them to how things were in Kenya, realizing that sub-Saharan Africa was in a unique position to not make the mistakes that the developed world had made, and quickly decided that that is what I was going to build my career in. When I did my master's, I was introduced to GIS and was like, this is a pretty nifty tool in helping me articulate, visualize, and interpret the work that I was doing, the research that I was doing. And so I ended up, after my master's, joining a research company to work on, as a GIS officer, to work on malaria epidemiology in sub-Saharan Africa. I did that for 2 years. And from that experience, realized that I needed to boost my expertise with certain skills that were more technical. Even though I was already technical, I felt like I needed to have more programming and statistics, at least a theoretic understanding of that. And so returned to do my PhD, where I focused on sorghum production in northern Nigeria, because one of my key driving passions in whatever I do is to make sure that I am dedicated to social impact in sub-Saharan Africa, be it natural resource management, food security, climate change, anything that has a human and environmental interaction is usually where I like to lie. And so after doing my PhD, I realized that I do love research, but academic way of doing research was not as impactful as I would have wanted it to be. And so dove back into industry and started off in Dalberg working as a manager, where I led a small team of young geospatial analysts. And the kind of work that we do is largely on social impact. So similar to what I've mentioned, financial inclusion, gender, climate change, resource management, urban planning, etc. All with towards the aspect of helping communities alleviate out of poverty and just have an improved way of life. And we've been lucky to be awarded most recently an award called the Tony Coley Award for our innovative work in mapping vulnerability under the risk of COVID for West Africa. In the future, I hope to continue getting to do what I love to do, which is growing young professionals and adding to the research body to improve the developing world. Thank you.
Nice, nice. Congratulations on the award. We move to Elham. If Elham could also share your career journey in the geospatial field.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Okay, first of all, I will introduce myself. My name is Elham. I'm GIS engineer. I graduated from Faculty of Engineering, Geomatics Department. After graduation, I joined 2 different scholarships related to GIS, which merging GIS with development languages. And then I have joined my first job as a GIS technical support engineer for GIS and software solutions company. During this period, I've joined many projects as a GIS engineer, freelance project, designing web applications based on GIS, but all of that was using open source GIS. I've worked for this position just about 3 years, and then I have promotion from my company. I've promoted as a product owner for the GIS projects. I've worked hard. I have worked for the climate change application, which delivered to the Ministry of Environment. This app is basically building GIS but open source. I think it was one of the greatest projects I've worked ever. Then I have worked for open source projects for the KSA, projects for the Ministry of Municipal and Rural Affairs. After that, I've joined for a GIS instructor for ITI, Information Technology Institute, which related to the Ministry of Communication, help people to learn or students to learn GIS, relation between GIS and development languages like Python, JavaScript, and other many programming languages. Now I'm working as a GIS instructor for ISRI, North Africa. And I just, I'm here and I'm proud of being one of the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, actually. Yeah, we really appreciate you joining, Elham. Mary isn't here, so we move to the next question. The next question will be quite, I think it's quite, should I say it's quite deep. The next question is as regards cross-cultural themes, and I'm guessing we have like 8 cross-cultural themes, which in which one of them is women. Now, the question will be, how far can the geotech or the IT solutions thrive without addressing cross-cultural things. So how far is it possible that you could get solutions without addressing the cross-cultural things that exist? Can solutions be done without taking the social context to which they are being used and utilized? So should science be driven by those social needs? So how far can this be done? Maybe we start with the reverse. I would say maybe I start with Dr. Clara, if you could go first.
Sure. The whole point of science and all these solutions is to serve social development, right? And specifically the needs that social development requires. And in this day and age, with how information flows freely, this is not something that can be ignored. In fact, it has to be a lot more intentional. So imagining building a body of knowledge that would barely solve or attempt to solve social challenges, or at least put them into perspective or consider them, I think would hardly be of any use. So for me, I definitely feel that, yes, there is a true need for science to keep up with the social needs, because the whole point of building this knowledge is to address challenges and find solutions for them. Even if we talk about things like in geotech and IT, if we really want people to adopt these solutions, they need to be reflective of what the current society is, how literate the communities are to absorb them, how they translate. Do they touch on any taboos that are currently there? So I think these considerations are necessary. Otherwise, I don't think science and IT and the solutions that are attached to what we do in research would make any sense.
Thank you for that. Let me get Cyhana's take on this.
Hi, yeah. +1 to everything Dr. Clara just mentioned, it's really true. And from the research side, whenever you are starting a project or a solution, you usually have to start with the research. You have to ask yourself certain questions, like who is the target audience? Who is the solution going to be for? In fact, what exactly is the problem you're trying to solve? And basically try to explore from that angle to create the solution. And in doing so, that's when you get to understand the demographics of the people that you're trying to help and try to build your solutions in that regard. And also, if this comes down to even trying to adopt solutions, I know there are some solutions that they work in certain parts of the world, but when you bring it to other parts, it does not work. And as Dr. Clara said, you really need to understand the kind of the areas that you want to provide the solution for. Who are the people in that area? What are the problems that they are kind of facing? Does the solution that we are bringing solve that problem? If not, how can we explore further to identify exactly what they need and kind of design our products to suit their needs? So there are so many things that you need to consider whenever you are trying to come up with a solution, be it geo solution or even a tech solution. You need to really be mindful of the people, and the people is basically the social people. So their social needs and any other needs that might kind of influence the products that you're working on. So yes, it is really important for you to identify that the social needs or the cultural differences in regards to who you are trying to build a solution for.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. In terms of making sure you have that the targets are the people and making sure that they are all included in doing it. I think that's the only way, based on concepts, that anything is sustainable. A direct interaction and a direct key in from the direct community or the different groups that exist within a community, which women are critical parts of. I would like to know if Elham has any points to include, apart from what Dr. Clara and Cyhana has already said.
Yes, I just agree with Dr. Clara and Cyhana what they said. I just need to add a small little thing. I think GTech and IT solutions are related with the GIS, especially for the future of the projects and the society based on GIS and IT solutions. That's it.
I think the internet. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I think Elham has a promote. Boineelo, do you have any other points to add, or you totally agree with what they said?
I totally agree with what Dr. Clara and Cyhana had said. I think, like, just to summarize, yeah, of course, geotech especially in today's era has no boundaries. So I think to say it can thrive without addressing cross-cultural issues would be us maybe overstretching it, because like I said, it has no boundaries and is not limited to anything. And usually geotech is that one broad discipline that applies across all other disciplines. And for science being driven by social needs, I think if we take, for example, the current climate change challenges, which are the major driving socioeconomic challenges that you're facing today, and we also take the COVID pandemic, both of those issues are the major social challenges, issues that we are facing today, but they are solely solved by science. So I think that would be like a better example of putting it into perspective.
Great. Yeah, actually, that's a better example. So I will move to the next, as pertaining to this cross-cultural issue, knowing that obviously it's important to get every form of different arms or sectors of the society into getting solutions or making sure that they are involved in developing solutions. And I would like to, following that idea, thoughts of ideas, wonder and ask if you guys know or can state how important community has been in building your career in GIS. How much has it been easy to get communities? Has it been challenging, or how did you build them? Were communities very important, or you had to just go solely on your own? Maybe I don't know if Elham is back. I think she is. Maybe we start with Elham in this. How important has community been for you in building your career and for people to build their career in GIS? I think she's in. Okay. Yeah,
Yes,
we can hear you. Okay.
What's the question again, please?
Yeah, the question is, how important has community been in building your career, and how can people like tap into community, the geo community, to build their career in GIS?
Yeah, just they're related to
maybe let's start with Cyhana, because I think Elham has a internet issue. So Cyhana, how important would community be in building a career in GIS, and were they instrumental in how much you grew in the geospatial industry?
Yeah, definitely very important. I keep saying that I, for one, am a, should I say, testimony to the importance of creating a community and how it can impact your career. So starting off from school, when I had first identified GIS as a very important topic and something I wanted to further in, I had no idea who to talk to, especially a lady, who to talk to that I can kind of understand how the industry is in Ghana outside the academic walls. What are some of the other industries that we can leverage on to kind of basically have job opportunities? So having job opportunities, which courses are available to learn further, especially free courses, because I was a student, I didn't have money, and who I can talk to even get opportunities in companies to work in, as well as a mentor. So during that session of my life, I had to go through LinkedIn, which was a very good tool for me to kind of identify and find people in the industry, especially women. And in that process, that was where I found my co-founder to start the community. So we actually identified so many challenges that kind of made us understand that the solution for that had to be a community. And that included not having access to job opportunities, information, not having access to affordable courses, like having people to recommend affordable courses for you, having mentors to kind of have these career chats with people who can basically understand where you're coming from, especially people in Africa who are in the GIS industry, because the Western world industry is a bit different from ours. So identifying some of these challenges made us know that we had to create that community, African Women in GIS, to help ladies like us who had these challenges to come together and to help each other. So definitely having a community, joining a community is very important. Even following these communities on social media to see some of the posts that they have to help you stay up to date in the industry, knowing the new technologies coming up. You don't necessarily have to be, let's say, a programmer or whatever, but it's good for you to have an idea of the parts of or the fields that are used in programming, and basically give you an idea of how you can build solutions with those programming languages. So having a community is really important in your career. And I can say that that's what has helped me so far. And even going out to even network more outside the continent is also really good. Joining, I know some of my members also have joined other communities. So we have Women in Geospatial Plus. We have Women in GIS Uganda, and Women in GIS Kenya, and Black geographers. So we have so many communities out there that are open to people like us. And in joining communities, it also helps that representation matters. That is another thing that has to do with communities that look like you. And it doesn't even need to be a big community. When I started out, before having African Women in GIS, I had just a group of friends that we all did GIS, and we were all working in different places. But whenever we had questions around the work we were doing, we could just go on a WhatsApp call and just have a chat and then help each other out. So community can come in different sizes, can come in different forms. It can come as a group of friends, it can come as an actual official community. It can come as a mentorship program that you join. It can come as a group of classmates in school. It can come in so many forms, and you shouldn't limit yourself to the communities you join. You can join more than one, and it's good for you to kind of expand further, not only in joining official communities, but also forming your own. You can just have a group of people on LinkedIn that you usually have constant communications with. That is your community. You can form your own community personally, and also join official communities that are actual organization bodies. So yes, in summary, communities are very important in your career journey.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Actually, I think you even answered what was my next question. So before moving to Dr. Clara, I'm going to combine it. how important was community in your development in the career, GIS career? Also, because I know you said you weren't necessarily GIS, you did environmental science, if I'm not wrong, and you moved into GIS. So I wanted to know how important was it during your transition, and how much, how can women tap into or leverage communities and mentorship?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So similar to Cyhana, when I started off my career, I did not see a lot of female representation in leadership. Basically around STEM, but also more specifically around geospatial work. And the experiences that I had with women that I was working with were actually quite negative. There's a lot of competition, sabotage, and it almost seemed like people were competing for the few spots that they were up there in the top. And I always felt like that wasn't like, if sea level rises, everything rises with it. So I felt like if we do something to improve the environment, then we all succeed, we all rise up. And I dedicated my professional career and personal passion to be a mentor to people, because when I started, I didn't find that. And in fact, if anything, I found the opposite. And so I do find myself attracted to groups and individuals that think the same, that promote female empowerment, inspire women. Even though myself, it did not directly lead to my career growth, it has definitely led to me building my understanding of this field, has definitely helped me in mentoring young individuals, because a lot of people and a lot of young graduates are kind of figuring it out on their own. And sometimes we've already figured some of it out for ourselves because we've been in the game for a bit. And so I provide myself as a community or even some support for people because I did not have it. It is super important because I have oftentimes found that there are people who struggle to find opportunities once they graduate and actually abandon GIS or geomatics to go to other professions where getting a job is easier. And they never had someone who could listen to them and guide them on how to extend themselves out there, what opportunities were there, or linking them with people who could give them opportunities. And it's unfortunate that has been the case. But I do encourage anyone who is thinking about pushing through it. It is not easy in the beginning. This is a very niche area. It is growing, but it's still very niche, particularly in Africa. There's a lot more education that needs to happen. Community is so key because it will allow you to see the full scope of things. When you are starting out, you only see what you know, right? But when you link with other people, then you see what they know as well. And that allows you to make decisions about your career, which areas you want to focus on. Do you want to go fully tech? Do you want to be back end? Do you want to be in front of clients? All those things can be supported through community. So yeah, I agree. It's super important.
Okay, thank you. Boineelo, do you want to tell us those communities you use? Because I don't know. I feel you're the youngest of everyone on the panel sessions, and you might have Cyhana has already mentioned the African women in GIS, the women in Geospatial Plus. Was there anyone which was instrumental for your own growth and development within the GIS space?
I don't think I know any other different from what Cyhana had stated. Yeah, I only know of the women in Geospatial and the Black geographers. Yeah, I think those are the major ones, really, to be honest. I wouldn't know any other for now.
Okay, thank you. Elham, do you still want to add anything to what the other panelists have said? Okay, I
Yes,
think
sorry, but I have a bad internet connection issues.
yeah,
Sorry for.
we understand. We understand.
Okay. I'm deeply agree with what Dr. Clara said for the importance of the community in building career in GIS. I think more the society get developed, the more we get the need to the GIS to be developed also, especially GIS related to development, especially in IT. GIS improves in a lot of fields, just like transportation and roads and many sciences, especially economics. It helps in developing the society or our community, especially dashboards. It helps a lot to get a lot of information in a little time, and many fields. GIS help a lot in all fields, which help to develop our community. So the importance of GIS careers increases related to the development of our community.
I think the internet again. So we go to the final question because I think we're almost done with time, but we still have some grace. The final question will be, and we might still have one more from the audience, but the final question from my side will be, if you were to look back at your career, or look back at the start from the start of your career to where you are now, what would you say you would do better? Is there anything you would change in terms of maybe skill acquisition, in terms of industry, in terms of community engagement? Dr. Linda talked about in the technical session. She particularly mentioned we need more GIS evangelists or geospatial evangelists. And recently, there have been so many that have been springing up. So I just want to know, is there anything you would do better? Is there anything you would change throughout your career if you were to go back or looking back at it? Let's start with if Boineelo is not available. Cyhana, could you?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't hear you. I thought you I had lost connection.
Yeah, you had lost connection.
Yeah, he did because I didn't hear my name.
Oh, so that means it's from my side. Okay. Sorry for that. So I was asking is in terms of looking back in hindsight, back at your career, what would you say you would do better, or is there a thing you would change? The industry you're involved in, would there be any form of community engagement? Would you be more involved with community? Would you switch maybe to the humanitarian sector? Would you move to a different place? What would you say you would, looking back, you would do better?
Okay. Personally, I don't like looking back. I always look forward. Anyway, to be honest, I don't think if given the chance, I'd change anything. For me, all the challenges and all the mistakes and all the wrong decisions that I might have made before, I think they kind of molded me to be the person that I am today and to be able to maneuver around the challenges that I'm facing today and ready to face the ones that I am to face tomorrow, especially in the geospatial industry, because the discipline is always changing and you can never be certain about anything. And even if I was to change something back, probably it won't be the same as what will be for the future. So for me, I don't think I'd have changed anything. There's this favorite phrase that I like. It says, the past is for reference, not for residence. So I'll just use my whatever past experiences, what they are, as reference to guide me to the future. That'll be my answer.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. I think someone said we should not fall backward. We should always fall forward. So I think I understand each of our past has experiences as well as formation years. So they help us to be where we are, which is also what gives you opportunity to do what you do. Let me move to Cyhana, if she would like to tell us if there's anything she would have done better or would have loved to have done looking backwards.
Yeah, +1 to what Boineelo said. Yeah, all the experiences I have gone through, I feel has made me who I am and led me to where I am. The one thing that I wish I could do more is, as Linda keeps saying, GIS evangelism. That is one thing that I wish I could do more. And that is especially not only to environmentally based organizations, but also to businesses. As one, I am really keen on trying to get businesses to adopt GIS solutions in their operations and management. And that is one field that I think if we are able to really break the nut, especially for the African geospatial industry, we will definitely be able to have more opportunities. So even though I would like to say forward ever, backward never, I really do like the fact that hopefully maybe the upcoming generation can help us to give more evangelism about GIS in the geospatial industry for Africa.
Yeah, great. I think it was from you I first heard the terminology, which I think is on your portfolio, GeoBusiness Innovator. I'm not sure, but I know GeoBusiness was on it. So I think
Yes.
you're also doing well. Dr. Clara, is there anything, looking in hindsight, you would do better or you would change?
I agree with the ladies. There's nothing I would really change. I've been very methodical and intentional in my career, and I do love what I do. So I wouldn't change anything. The process was short, sweet, painful, exhilarating at times, but all of them have led to where I am right now, and I'm super happy about the progress that I have made and the future that I would hope to continue to build. One thing I would maybe perhaps wish I did a bit more of is I do miss academia, in the sense that I'm very solution oriented. So I like having a puzzle that I have to find a solution for. And within the boundaries of academia, you have a lot of freedom to explore. And I feel like with that freedom, you really do build your skills a lot faster, because you don't have any deadlines and timelines, not as much as it is in industry. And sometimes I do miss getting into it. The other day, I, for the fun, decided to go into a new methodology and spend the whole weekend obsessing over it. And it was like super fun to kind of go back there again, because in my current position, I'm more in management and leadership than I am in the technicalities of things. So yes, that is an aspect of my career that I do miss, but I wouldn't give up anything else that I have gone through, because it has all made me who I am.
So just on a lighter note, so I'm guessing you'll be willing to give up management role for maybe like a data engineer, as far as they pay you the same amount.
No, thank you. I think everyone, I paid my dues. I have been in that level, and I paid my dues, and I look forward to being more in the strategy and decision-making aspects. Similar to what, people have mentioned, being an evangelist means that you have to be in the presence of the right people who are ready to listen about what solutions geospatial work can provide. And I'm in a position to do that. So, but I do think that every one of us has to pay our dues at the different levels that we're in, whether we're starting out at the graduate level or we're deep into the management level. I just sometimes miss the technicalities of things.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. Elham, looking back, would you do anything better? Would you change anything?
No, I just improve myself with some words. I'm proud of what I did, everything, especially being a woman in GIS field. I think it's not easy to get your success and improve your skills and say that I'm here, I'm successful woman. I think all of this isn't easy to be done. So being in this such like a great event, I think I'm proud of myself. I expect doing more and more and to be satisfied of myself much more than now. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I think I'm asking, does anyone in this room for the webinar have any questions? You could put it on the live chat. I think I do have a question. Let me see. We're rounding up the whole GIS Fest. So I wanted to know is in a world where we live with allies, you hear the terminology allies and it almost sounds like a buzzword. I wanted to ask the panelists, anyone could answer the question or anyone could say what they want to could support. In a world of allies and now in the GIS space, what should we men do? How should we help? How should we help eliminate those barriers, walls that are created in normal, all that obviously exists, unspoken barriers that exist. What do you think would be your advice for women on what we should do, what we can do to help make it easier or make it an equal playing field for every gender?
I could start with that one if possible.
Okay.
This is something that I am very, very vocal about. I think that one of the way men can be allies is in hiring. Okay, if we have situations where men feel more comfortable hiring other men, then it does become very difficult for young female or other minority genders to climb up the ladder because they don't actually have that entry point. It's so often that we see in industry and in corporate that the very junior levels are filled with women and more senior roles are filled with men. Or you might find more supportive roles like HR, marketing, operations being filled with women, but the more technical roles like data scientist, engineer, etc., are more filled with men. So if men are already in those positions, then their allyship should be bringing women on board. And we're obviously not requiring you to just hire a woman because she's a woman, but many women are skilled, but somehow through gender bias, known or unknown, conscious or unconscious, women are being left behind. So it does fall to us women who are already in those positions to bring women up, but we cannot do it ourselves. We need men to join in and see the value of women, and be active in hiring more women into positions of power.
Perfectly said. Does any other panelist want to add a point? No point. Okay. Is that Cyhana or Boineelo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah, I just want to agree with everything that Dr. Clara just shared. Like, if you are in a position to help make a change, please do so. Be it a man, be it a woman. That is all we ask for. We also ask for the change in the thoughts that you deny women opportunities just because of, let's say, our physiological differences. Please don't deny a woman just because of that. If we are meant for the job, if we have the skills for the job, just take us up on that. There are times when some people even come up to us and say, why are we all talking so much about women empowerment? Why is everything women, women, women? It's because everything has always been men, and we've taken it as the norm, which that is not it. So we need to try and change the norm. We need to let people see that it is normal for a woman to take the position of power. It is not surprising. It is something that a woman is capable of. It shouldn't take us by surprise. And not only with the current generation or people of power or people in positions, but also with the upcoming children. There are times when I think about it and I'm like, sometimes we tend to ask for a change a bit late. We need to start from the roots. We need to start from the foundations. So as we all come together, men and women, we need to start with the children. Let them have that notion that it is normal for a woman to have such a position of power, position of technical position, because I can tell you for a fact that when I was a kid, it was very surprising to see a woman having a technical job. It was very surprising. And I wouldn't want that for the upcoming generation. I would want that to be something that they are not used to, because it's something that we face in the office. Like as Dr. Clara said, women tend to have these servitude positions. And because of that, you as a woman, you are automatically seen to have that, let's say, skill. So I remember when I was working at one of the companies that I worked for, I used to be called upon to serve lunch for a meeting that is ongoing for some of the top people, because I was a woman and I was available, and it's seen as like a woman's job. And I was someone who was a technical person creating maps, but they came to call me instead of calling a man who is actually supposed to do that job, just because I'm a woman and I'm around. They tend to just automatically look for the woman in the room to take up certain roles. And that is something we do not want to make normal, because if that is normal, the upcoming generation tend to see it as such, and then the cycle continues. So we need to change our thinking. We need to show the upcoming generation the difference in our thinking and the opportunities that are available, and the normality of a woman taking up such positions of power and technical positions, so that it makes it easier for people to just look at a woman as a person coming in for a job and coming in for a specific role, and not deny the person deny a woman just because she's a woman. So yes, that's my +1 to what Dr. Clara shared.
I'm sorry for ending the session on it sounds like a gloomy note. The question sounded so gloomy that it was almost like an instruction, but that's what we wanted. So just to end it, it would just be a quick, I think Boineelo had to go for an urgent meeting. So just Dr. Clara, Elham, and Cyhana, if they could just tell us one skill you think it's very important to thrive in the geospatial space. We could start with Dr. Clara. One skill you think it's more important, or at least should be at your top 5 to thrive in the geospatial space.
Yeah, for me, personal experience, I would say that one thing that I am continuously trying to build is emotional intelligence. if you move towards in the geospatial careers, you're going to have to engage with different people, people who are technically knowledgeable, people who are technically dismissive, people who are gender biased. There's so many types of individuals that you will meet, and it is important to understand or to have emotional intelligence and be more self-aware about how you present yourself, as well as how to engage with people who might not understand, might be hesitant to understand, etc. And emotional intelligence is not as easy to attain, and it's not something that you attain once and forever have it. You have to continuously work on it. And even moving outside of just geospatial and career, geospatial career, just for your own career and for your own personal life, I have come to realize that emotional intelligence is super important. And so I would say people consider building that, because it will be a super useful skill as you venture out into your career, engage with more people. It's even helpful when you're negotiating salaries, and stuff like that. So yeah, I would urge people to build on their emotional intelligence and being more self-aware.
Okay, EQ, Cyhana. What skill, one skill you would say we should have?
I don't know if this is a skill, but it's more like something to complement your career, and that is building a personal brand. Everybody who knows me knows I am very particular about that, and that is making yourself stand out, making yourself known for what you can do, giving people something to remember you by after you've met them. So I would say that if you are a technician, someone who is working usually at the back end, building your personal brand or having that online presence of who you are and what you can do is something that can guide your career growth and can even influence your career growth. And I keep saying that right now, companies are looking at your online presence. I keep using myself as an example because the first time I attended a Microsoft event, the first thing the lady at the desk asked me for was my LinkedIn profile. So I'm really particular about this. As you are building your skills, as you are building your knowledge, do not forget to build your online presence. Do not forget to build your brand. Do not forget to let yourself stand out, because that is how you can attract opportunities, and that is how you can also impact other people. So it's a two-way gate that you can do. So that's what I'll add to anyone who wants to advance in their career. Apart from the technical skills, do make sure that you pay attention to the soft skills. You pay attention to your personal branding to help yourself advance faster and in your career.
That's a great answer. Personal brand, EQ, personal brand. Elham, would you want to tell us just one skill you feel we should have, or if anyone who is in the geospatial space or it's an enthusiast who wants to enter the geospatial industry should have?
Yes, I think managerial skill is the most important for GIS. I think it's included for the many projects and the many important projects. Being a part of this project, you have to be owner for the decision. So to take the decision and to be responsible for what you say or what you did in this project, being managerial skills, to be a manager and say we will do that or we won't do that. I think it's important for the GIS field.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. So we have had Dr. Clara Mundia, we have had Cyhana Lena Williams, we have had Elham, Ahmed, Soudy, and we have had Boineelo, Moyo. Thank you for joining us today. The GIS Fest, I'm guessing this is the last session and the last for the GIS Fest 2022. Thank you from our side, the coordination team, which is, I think, consists of people. From our side, we're really grateful for the amount of people who were able to join. Is there anyone on the GIS Fest teams that will want to give any note of appreciation or say any other thing? Emmanuel, Onola, Joan, anyone who wants to add any other thing for the end of the conference? I think everybody, I think I'm the one to, okay.
Nothing really, actually. Just, yeah, no, nothing actually. I just want to say a very big thank you to everybody who participated. It's actually not been easy for these 2 days, so I want to thank everybody for joining in. We wish that the next one will be more fantastic than this. This is actually very, very fantastic. So thank you very much, everyone.
So it's Joshua who spoke. I said Joan instead of Joshua. So we are at the end. There's nothing more to say. I think I would like to. Okay, Emmanuel. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, so thank you so much. This is my appreciation to panelists for honoring our invitation. This has not been easy, given the fact that GIS industry in Africa is still growing. So, and this is one of ways at which we can reach one of ways at which we can utilize this technology. So this is the start of something in our continent. We hope that the next edition, next year, will be more amazing than this. And we hope that this is how end of countries. So thank you everyone.
Okay. So we are at the end. At this point, I think the only thing to say is gracias. And in the Nigerian language, I think eshe is the right word at this point. So till we meet, which would be hopefully next year, the GIS Fest conference or the GIS Fest conference is officially ended. So I think we end with Dr. Linda's words in the technical session. We should try as much as possible to create innovations that where you go, be a geospatial evangelist, as it's a critical point of the problems we have. Thank you. So everybody, ciao. Have a lovely rest of your day and peace.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and thank you for the great organization team. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Congratulations to the team. You've had a very successful session. Thank you for setting this up.
Yeah, you're welcome. We hope to invite possibly other years. Thank you for attending.
Sure, my pleasure.
Yeah.